Hi. So, we're gonna continue this project right here. I finally got it to where I only have one page of the chapter left, and then I'm gonna start it on the next chapter. And, I kind of realized that one of the next chapters is gonna be the one where Sean gets into a fight with Sam Crenshaw at school. Because he kissed Ashley and Sean wanted to kiss Ashley. It'll make sense when you read the book. But since there may be kids watching, I can't really fully explain. So I feel bad for my husband because he wanted to watch a certain episode of Nash Bridges and finish it, but he had to be to work. He had to go to work, so I have to go and figure out which episode it is and put that in the Xbox later. Okay, so we might need to go to the other file and see what's next in the list of buildings that we need to build down the street from the hotel today. But at the moment, I'm trying to get the water to connect over by the school. It's an important part of the school. That's a weird episode in Nash Bridges. They're in a blue room. But it looked like the person that they think did it, or they know did it, was definitely doing bad stuff, so. Almost. So they made a really weird decision for season 5 ? Might be 6. Anyway, I don't know how famous an actor he is, but in the movie Never Been Kissed, there's a guy that's supposed to be, telling her what is a story and what isn't a story, I guess. And and um he happens to be on season 5 or 6 of Nash Bridges. But instead of being a news reporter, cameraman guy, or whatever he is, on the movie Never Been Kissed with Drew Barrymore, instead of being that, he's a cop. And he happens to have epilepsy, which I would think would stop him from being a cop, but his storyline is that he it's not because I'm like picking on people with epilepsy. It's just that, if you have a seizure at just the wrong time, you can let the bad guy get away. So I would think it would be one of those things that you can't really do. But his storyline is that he's got medicine. As long as he keeps up on his medicine, he's okay. So, anyway, I think he makes a good cop. I don't know why that reminded me, because it's like season 3 or 4 on the screen, but I think the neighbors have a Samsung TV, because our TVs turn on by themselves sometimes. And my dad said that, if there's like a power surge, that could cause that. But I thought it was really weird, because I came down the stairs and my husband's TV turned on like it was doing me a favor, like we're gonna watch Nash Bridges, and I'll just turn on by myself, kind of freaky. Anyway, like I said, we're trying to connect this water around that direction. I think that's the gas station right here, right? Yeah, okay. That's the gas station. I think I just put that color for, like that color for now kind of thing. With the brightness and all that. You can't even see that from the mansion. Okay, and it goes off that way. But I think I'm gonna have to redirect it. Not redirect. I'm gonna have to fix it. Because originally I had no idea where this was gonna end. And okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, if I do it this way, well, no, not there, not there, not there. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there. You know, I thought about it afterwards. I have to go and um I thought about it afterwards that I need to um go and make sure the floor's here, and then how the heck am I going to put in the water? But I will figure out a way. You know, and I'm thinking if there's an old cereal factory, there ought to be a new cereal factory. But I don't know where the new cereal factory would be, and it's not really important to the storyline at all whatsoever. There is a dirt racetrack that's important to the storyline, but that's different. Yeah, okay, so... Oh, well, it's probably one of those things where when I figure out where the other half of it is... I mean, you know, where the other end is... You know, I was watching Nash Bridges, not yesterday, but the day before, because my husband wanted to watch it, and I'm like, well, I wanted to watch it too, but you know, the whole thing was he wanted to watch it too. And then all of a sudden, one of his friends gets on the Xbox, and of course, he's got to start talking to them. You know, I thought we were going to have like a movie night, and no, he tells, he tells Squibs and his friend that they're having a movie night, but as soon as one of his other friends gets on, it's, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna talk. So, anyway. Okay, yeah, so the part of the chapter that I just finished is Sam Crenshaw had a fight with his parents because they think that Sam stole Ashley away. Not that it's a mutual thing. And now that I think about it, that sounds kind of insulting. But anyway. Like he can't get his own girlfriend or something. But anyway, so his parents think that he stole Ashley away. And so 3-hour long argument. And then he finally gets sent to his room. He escapes out the window and goes to the mansion, where he knows that there's going to be people that are going to understand the situation. And on the way, he offers to take Ashley out to see some stars. Just see the stars. Not a big deal or anything. Isn't any kind of secret code, Anyway, isn't some kind of secret code or anything like that. Just, seeing some stars. So they're sitting there talking and having a good time. And Ashley mentions something and that Ashley promised not to kiss any other guys, and Sean promised not to kiss any other girls. So she said she gets the giggles every single time because it's going to be really weird, after they're both married to somebody, if Sean has to come back to the mansion all the time to kiss Ashley, and Ashley has to, kiss Sean instead of her husband. So, but Sam goes, but it's going to put a strain in your relationship too. And she's like, oh, you're right. But in between those two parts, they see a shooting star, and Ashley's like, wow, So, yeah. We are probably going to go back to where we first started. Eventually, anyway. And figure out how to connect the two areas. So good news is I'm seeing episodes I haven't seen before on Nash Bridges because it's on TV. So the thing is that they're telling time because, you know, Sam Crenshaw gets jealous that she could look at her phone anytime she wants. It, hardly ever runs out of battery power. Um, it hardly ever runs out of battery power, um, and you can make calls from anywhere in the world. I just think that, um, I came up with that because, like we've got satellites that run a whole bunch of stuff the, in the world, and we ought to have a cell signal like, I mean, at least like on Star Trek. They've got the communicators. They can go and, they've got their communicator and they're talking to the people on ship on the, on the Enterprise. So, I think that's what we ought to have. But so far, they haven't been able to do that. So I made I decided they're rich and, they ought to be able to have, calling from anywhere in the world to anywhere in the world. So, it's kind of funny because I was inventing certain things in my stories, and a lot of it has come true. Like, like the 1 and 8 terabyte hard drives, external hard drives. I made that up in my story, but I'm sure I've said something about it on my videos here, and all of a sudden they're a thing. So I think that's awesome. Actually, I think that's really awesome. But also, Fast and Furious was put, the next Fast and Furious movie was supposed to come out, I thought last year, and I've been saying, how confusing the last one was. Fast 10, how confusing it was, and how it didn't really leave you with an end. And how I really wouldn't want it to, I mean, like I think it's going to be like Harry Potter 7A or 7 Part 1, whatever you want to call it. Where that's the confusing part. That's the confusing part. That's the maybe. Well, okay, you can't say Fast and Furious is ever boring, but when you're reading the first half of Deathly Hallows, it's kind of the boring part. But then you get to the part where it's got the epic battle between good and evil, Harry Potter versus Voldemort, and it's like all worth it. And you understand why you had to sit through, all the other parts. I mean, I love all of the Harry Potter books. But that part, I don't know, it's just not as interesting as as some of the other parts. But anyway, I've been saying stuff like that, and so it got delayed to 2026, and then now I hear it's delayed till 2027. So if I'm the reason, I am so sorry. But I want it to, I want to feel closure. I want to feel, um, I want to feel like it made sense. And I just don't know if it's going to. Um, and if everybody really did get killed off, I'm going to be upset. And it seems weird to me that they had this whole thing about Jack. They had this whole thing about uh Jack, right? And I think that's it. I think that's their son's name. Anyway, they had this whole thing about Jack. They never even uh they never even had the daughter in there. So far anyway. And it's like they kind of forgot about her. They have had little Brian. They call him Little B, but you know, I don't know why they'd have Little B um and not Jack and not Jack's sister, because they didn't have a name. I hope they do not name her Mia Jr. I don't know. I like the name Natalie, but they don't have to go with that. Doesn't really fit the vibe. Anyway. See, this way, if I change my mind, I can just go and take down one layer and it's gone. It'll be good. So the episode that I was watching of Nash Bridges just before I had to mute it, so it wouldn't be on here, is his ex-wife said that she was going to get remarried. I ought to know her name. I can't think of it right now. But Lisa, his ex-wife Lisa, said that she was getting remarried, and for some reason she had to come all the way home from Paris to do it. There's another episode that I was just remembering. Cat I didn't think she was all that bad, but I think the actress that plays Cassidy was gonna get a chest enlargement, and so they had to write it into the storyline. But it was kind of funny because after Cassidy gets her enlargement, she's walking around like, you know, she's walking around like it's weird to have extra weight in the front there. And so she's walking around kind of stiff, like somebody gave her too tight of pants or something. It was weird. I'm like, that is not how you walk. So I'm over here half expecting that if she does get married, that all of a sudden he's gonna turn out not be as nice as he's supposed to be. Or that it's gonna turn out that they're gonna be married for a month or something like that to get him into the country, and then they're gonna get a divorce or something, on Nash Bridges. I don't know. I'm all over the place today. Yeah, like I said, when the upcoming chapters, Sean is gonna have a fight with Sam, and they're both gonna get sent home. And then another chapter, something wonderful happens. But in between those two moments, Sean has 3 nightmares. Well, technically he has he has the same nightmare 3 different times, and it it changes. So the first time he's on a date with a girl, I want to say it was Tracy, but it might have been Coral. But anyway, he's on a date with a girl, and yeah, we'll go with that. It was Coral, just because. As soon as I get to that chapter, I'll let you know who is actually the date. But I mean, who actually went to the movies with him? There, we'll say it that way. So anyway, they come out of the movie theater, and they have a little bit of time to talk before her dad gets there to pick her up. And oh, I forget what happens exactly, but anyway, they talk for a little bit, and she's coming on way too strong. She wants her kiss, and she wants it now, kind of thing. Well, anyway, her dad pulls up, and she gets in, and the dad's saying don't go too far, kind of thing, and then they go home. So then Sean goes around the corner, and he finds out his truck is trashed, slashed tires, keyed doors and tailgate, because he's got a black truck, keyed doors and tailgate, and every single thing that could be messed with was messed with, pretty much. And then he sees who did it. He's chased after them, but he gets a bat thrown at him, and he's out of breath, and and I don't know if the first time she drills a sword through his head, but eventually that does happen, and the worst one, I think it was Ashley went away with another guy on her horse, and then her horse turns into a Sean, like third or fourth Sean brother. So, it's weird. I'll have to get to that chapter and really explain it. But yeah, it's the thing that makes him realize that he really needs Ashley. And I think, okay, the chapter I'm on right now, like I said, Sam and Ashley are on the beach. They're watching stars and they're talking. And they're going to get home, maybe a little bit late, like 10 minutes or something like that. And Sam apologizes that, or Sam or Ashley apologizes that they're late, and because I haven't gotten that far yet. It's the last page of the chapter. And then they're all going to go inside, but Sam, adjusted his belt like they had done more than they did, but it's just that when he put it on, it was a little tight, and that was the first chance that he had to adjust it. But I don't know. Anyway, Sean ends up slamming the door on him, and Sam opens up the door again, steps inside, and said, "I thought I was spending the night." Or reminds him that he was spending the night. Something like that. Anyway, it's going to be some good chapters coming up. I almost want to go and play some of the story, but I would have to go and make sure that once it got to just the ones where the story is being played. I'd have to go and make that adult only just to make sure, because I know that there's some specifically adult only scenes in there. I'd play, I'd probably play chapter 1 of Pirate's Daughter say on a Monday, and then chapter 2 on the next day, Tuesday, and then chapter 3, 4, and 5 on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, something like that. But my husband doesn't want me to give away something for nothing, you know? So it's like I want to do that because I want you all to want to read the story, but I don't know. I'm not good at advertising, even though I love my books and I could talk about them just about all day. Um, well, Bobby's slowly becoming a cuddle muffin, as we call it. I mean, as we call it. Yeah, as well, it's as we call it, but not that Bobby's an it. Being a cuddle muffin is the it. So, and I had cereal yesterday. Talking about that because I'm hungry. Um, so because I'm so close, I might end up um stopping the stream early and doing another one later. Oh, okay, that's what happens in this one. Um, Ashley calls, "Hey, we got to go," because it's 9:50, and um apparently they got up there. Wait. Sam grabbed her hand. He hurried both of them up to the front door. "Hey, sorry," he apologized to Sean, who stood out in front of the front door with Jesse. "We were watching the stars and lost track of time." And then Sean says, "Well, I'm glad she's okay," and shuts the door with them on the inside and Sam on the outside. Well, Sam goes and opens the door, and I don't know if that's actually what I'm supposed to be doing or not. Anyway, Sam goes and opens the door again and reminds his friend that he's spending the night. I wasn't going to do it this way. I really wasn't. And then I was like, well, it's got to it's got to go a certain way. But that means that there's a ton of green grass back here. I was trying to prevent that, but then it went and crashed into the school, and the shape that it left just didn't seem right, so. So I'll have to go and figure out something. Okay, so I thought it was one thing, and I thought on the TV show, um, thought it was one thing. I have changed the batteries like so many times. Although I was up pretty late last night. Um, I literally got it to where what all the seeds that I bought yesterday um got planted. Except for I found out that I did not get the Wish Blossom Ranch seeds. I didn't even think about it. So, um, so I got all the other seeds put in, and I got all the other seeds put in, but I still have to go back and plant those, especially the beetroot. I think there was a reason why I didn't want to do it this way, but I don't know. And if it's going to be way out here like it is right now, it might reach all the way over to the gas station, um and then I'll definitely have my how to get there. Anyway, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but we'll figure it out. And then as soon as we figure it out, then we can figure out what we're going to do with some of this. Because literally it goes to the cereal factory and then down the street from that. And I don't know if this is going to be a forest or if it's just going to be an empty field or what. Haven't decided yet, so we'll figure it out. Anyway. Okay, so I gotta take this mountain out. I know that. I have to take the mountain out. But like, there's no parks over here. Or maybe when the carnival comes to town, because I'm assuming Ireland has carnivals. Maybe when the carnival comes to town, this is where they park. I actually did have, like, the carnival wasn't a thing in my stories, except for one spot, and I had a separate island that I had it on with a rainbow raceway and everything. I made it a rainbow raceway because um, Unspeakable kept finding rainbow raceways, and he's like, "This is so cool!" And I thought maybe if I built it, he'd get in contact with me, but just to talk, But no, um, like like I built that and the whole entire thing was rainbow. Or, yeah, like the whole entire thing was rainbow. And, like he kept finding the longest raceway. And it's like, I think I've got the longest raceway. No matter what, hands down. Not trying to be, mine's bigger or anything like that, but really, I think mine was a lot longer than his. 'Cause his was like it took 30 minutes or something like that. And mine takes well, I think at the moment it takes over an hour. And but it's not as exciting necessarily. But yeah, I had the raceway go all the way to the height limit and then back down again. Well, like one under the height limit. Okay. Anyway, you can't have it go all the way to the height limit because then um you can't build and have the minecart go up there, so you gotta have like one under. Um I wanted to build one of those ones where the pistons are pushing where the pistons are pushing the cart around, so it's going down. Uh, it's going down a certain way, and I just could not figure out how to do that yet. I've got another world where I'm building the longest roller coaster, and it's supposed to be going all over the place. And that one's allowed to have redstone in it, and I've been there. I've got Pop's Disney Adventures playing in the background, and it's actually live this time. So, I haven't talked on it yet, but it is live. I want to know what's happening on this one. Because, one of the characters, Caitlin, is fighting um the other lady, and since I can't hear it, I have no idea what's going on. Anyway, we might have a shorter stream today because I'm hungry. I need to go upstairs, and that doesn't make for very good content. I don't have animals walking around so you can see what they're doing or whatever. There's no villager. Well, there are villagers, but they're in a very specific village, and I'd have to go over there, and I don't know if they're going to do anything that's interesting, so. And I did not place those villagers. They came free with the world. I mean, I'm playing creative, so I can have as many villagers as I want, but, yeah, they came with the world. They spawned in by themselves. The only problem is that I'm building this up above where the village is, so I'm building it up above where the village is, so so the village is buried, kinda. I mean, it does have a big open roof for the area that they're in, but they're pretty much buried. I'll show you in a little bit. Here. All I have to do is remember where my... Oh, okay, it's right next to the school. I'm good. See, this is all flat ground. Okay, so what I was saying... Because I think it's along this road over here, or it might be along that road over there. I think it's along that road over there, actually. So we'll turn around, do some kind of drift. I was going to say a braking drift, and then I was like, well, what if it isn't braking drift? Here we go. Okay, some of it's buried, and some of it's up here. Oh, they are moving around. Huh, okay. Well, we're going to go back over there. Yeah, so I'm trying to fill this in. I'm trying to fill this in. Oh, no. Not trying to fill this in. I am trying to... Unless I am. I don't know. He asks me, do you want me to take out my test houses? I said yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm never letting them on my world again. I'm sorry. I love my kid, but... Oh, that's on purpose. Okay. I love my kid, and I appreciate the help, but... He goes and does stuff in my world like it's no big deal, and it is. It's a very big deal. Besides, my husband's saying that I need to do laundry. I don't know if he needs laundry or if I need laundry. Well, I know I need laundry. But I don't know if he needs it. So it'll probably be like, I'll do a load of his and a load of mine, and then probably say that probably say that I needed, oh yeah, that whole mountain needs to go too. So part of that problem over there behind the school is my fault because I didn't tell them to go down to a certain spot and, keep it there for now. I just told them that it needed to go down to bedrock. So, yeah, I'm going to have a big problem. Well, maybe not. Because, I can go like this and then see the water went all the way down. Anyway, we'll figure it out. Figure it out. Figure it out. Dun 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 dun, dun. Figure it out. That was on Sesame Street. I do not know the name of the episode or anything like that, or if they even had names of episodes. But I'm like from the time period that I think I actually saw the episode where the kid don't know if it was tap dancing or I want to say it was tap dancing. But whatever kind of dancing he was doing, he was on the show when he was 6, and then he was, or well, I don't know if he was on the show, but his story was that he was there when he was on Sesame Street when he was 6, and then he was coming back as a young man, and Big Bird did not understand that when children grow up, they're no longer 6 years old. And he's like, but where is he? And he's like, I'm right here. And yeah, something like that. I didn't write the episode, and I haven't seen that in years. I'm one of those weird people, though, that if I could get that on DVD, I probably would. I would like to get, I would like to get all the seasons of Mythbusters. I want to get the rest of the seasons of NCIS Los Angeles because, I was saying this the other week. What? Oh, Afrin. Afrin is not good unless they change the recipe. Or it was just my, my dad got to the point where he had to have it, because it was a spray you sniffed, um, or you like sprayed up your nose like Flonase, and um, he got to the point where he couldn't start his day without doing that, whether he was feeling allergies or not. And I guess he got help because like didn't um they didn't like show like we weren't involved in him getting the help because we were just kids, but I guess he did because he doesn't act like that anymore. I'm glad he doesn't. Yeah, I'm glad he doesn't have to have that anymore. I think, I think Mom probably helped him. Get the help he needs and all that, or needed. Um, but it's so weird. My dad turned 70 this year, and to change the subject, my dad turned 70 this year, and apparently my grandma, the last one I have, because Mama's parents are gone, and um, Dad's parents are gone. Dad's dad started it, and then Mama's, but both of them, two different, yeah, 2 different years, but they went next, and then grandma first, and then grandpa later, and then and then grandma went when our son turned 7 or something like that. When Squips turned 7. Anyway, might have been older than that, but I think he turned 7. Anyway, and then no, not last year. 2024. Mom's dad passed away. Yeah, because if it was 2025, it would have been just a little while ago. Yeah, no. Anyway, so it's been a while since anybody I think it's been a while since anybody passed away, but oh my goodness, well, Coral in January 23rd, 2025. That was our kitty cat. But I was trying to change the subject away from bad stuff. So I've been typing out the Bible and turning it into an audio so I can listen to it, because I had the whole entire Bible on CD, and we moved in here, and I swear I saw it for a good 3 or 4 months, and then it just went poof. And I could have sworn I had it when we went to go try to see Mama for the last time. But the problem was it was during COVID, so they probably wouldn't let us see her anyway. Um, and and it's one of those things where, I really, thinking about it, I think God did that on purpose. Not because He didn't want me to see Mama. It's because He didn't want me to see Mama the way that she was just before she went, you know. Anyway, I was trying to change the subject though. Um, so okay, it's gonna sound bad at first, but I do have a book where um Sean, if I remember correctly, Sean is kidnapped because he's his grandfather's grandson, and they couldn't find William Senior. That's his grandfather. They couldn't find William. He likes to be called William Pendragon the Second. They couldn't find William Pendragon the Second either, so they did find Sean. Well, in a previous book before that one, they found that they had a brother named Dustin, and he looks exactly like Sean and Jesse, except for the hair. They've all got different hair. Because Sean's is auburn, and then Jesse's is auburn with a little bit of blonde in it, and Dustin's is all dark. I either described it as black or just dark brown. I can't remember which. But anyway, Sean gets taken to this club in Russia. I made it up. I was not thinking of any specific club that may or may not be in Russia at this time. But what ends up happening is that he is getting beat up every day, kind of like James Bond in I don't remember which one it is. Anyway, it's one of the Pierce Brosnans, and he got it's the one with the guy with the diamond face. I want to say World Is Not Enough. Haven't watched those in a long time either. I used to know the answer no matter what. But I think it's World Is Not Enough. I'm not entirely sure though. But anyway, it's one of the Pierce Brosnans, and he got captured by the bad guys, and they're beating him up, trying to drown him, trying to get him to talk no matter what. And it ends up that they have to trade, so they have James Bond, and the bad guys get their bad guy back. Because I have no idea what his name is. But it's kind of like that, and they beat him up every day, and then all of a sudden, he's getting a shower because it's Sunday. And he's getting a shower because it's Sunday, and the guard hears him sing. So he calls over the boss, and Sean just happened to at that moment the water touched one of his sores, and he let out a very, uh, a very, like like Kiefer Sutherland on Three Musketeers. Um, and the boss goes, "That is not singing," and I think he punches him and walks away. Well, anyway, he finally does find out that, yeah, Sean sings, and so they make him the the singing act at the club, and he uh something about um because I figured that if these are bad guys, they don't like America. So you know so something about turning American trash, which is all songs I really love, and they're great songs. um but something about turning American trash into, Russian awesomeness or something like that. I can't remember how I said it, but it obviously isn't going to be Russian awesomeness. I'll tell you that right now. Um, but but it's all songs I love. Like, say, "Before He Cheats," by Carrie Underwood. Um, I can't think of the name of the song. I can't think of the name of the song, but it's Eagle Eye Cherry. Oh, "Safe Tonight." Um, and I am hoping that, they'll all be okay with, uh and whoever's song I wrote in there, I hope they'll be okay with it, and that, they don't have, like, suing rights or anything thing like that, because I named the song, and I named who sings it. And that is not going to become a copyright thing, because I didn't write down any of the words. I wrote that Sean was singing them. That's all I wrote. Um, this turned into a different stream than I was thinking it was going to be. Anyway, that right there on the right is the old cereal factory, and the wall for the left is the school. And we've got to get that hill, mountain, whatever it is, out of there, and hopefully it'll be all good. I just don't really have anything to. I don't have anything to talk about right now. So I'm trying to make up stuff. I'm trying to think of stuff to talk about. Um, so um, so anyway, the thing is that Ashley is pregnant with twins at the time. They thought that, um, yeah, she had a black spot in her stomach area. Um, like, specifically on. Never mind, I can't mention that on a stream. Or at least it sounds like something I shouldn't mention on a stream. Anyway, she had a black spot, and it turned out it was cancer, but Oliver was able to fix it. And um and so the thing was is that they were supposed to, like, make it to where she can't make babies anymore. And they didn't do that. And so she's pregnant with twins. And they show up at the bar, and this is a book called Singer. Anyway, they show up at the bar, and Ashley gets captured and taken to, club, not bar. It's a club. Anyway, Ashley gets captured, and so does Jesse, and I'm just going to say some other people because I can't remember who they were. Maybe Jonah and Zach. I don't know. But whoever, it's Sean and Jesse and those other two. We'll just say it was Jonah and Zach. Anyway, and they were somehow they were in the hall, and they made it look like they to Ashley they made it look like Sean was unalived, and to Sean they made it look like Ashley was unalived. So Sean's upset, he's crying, and so is Ashley, and she's hysterical, like, how could you do that, and all that stuff. Anyway, Ashley ends up getting sold to other bad guys, and how did she do that? Anyway, Ashley gets sold, and Sean thinks that he's a bachelor again. So, so they put up with, for a while, they put up with Sean, bringing dates home, enjoying their company, and, they end up going home again. Sometimes Jesse and Dustin even, come up with the girlfriend from Shatana's. But, nothing seems to be helping because it's not Ashley. He even goes out on a date with Coral. Coral is, yeah, I think Coral is from Lessons in Love, or she might be from Test in Love. I can't remember right now. Anyway, she only went on, she went on a date with Sean, like one time, and, anyway, they find each other again, and he invites her over for dinner at the mansion, and he keeps subconsciously calling her Ashley instead of Coral, and Coral doesn't like that, obviously. So I think she ends up going home. He does apologize for calling her Ashley so much, but anyway, so Dustin decides that Dustin is from a book where he was so mad at William and his brothers and his sister for having the good life without him, because he's got an aunt that doesn't want him. He's living with his, or he was until he turned 18, moved out on his own. He was living with an aunt who did not want him, and told him that his father didn't care about him. So Dustin finds out who his father is and plots revenge. He's going to set the mansion on fire. And he does, but he gets stuck in the garage. I don't know why, but I wrote it like the garage door did not want to open. It should have been easy, press the remote or press the button on the wall, and it and it opens, but that's not what happened. Oh. So the guy who plays the principal on The Breakfast Club with Emilio Estevez and Molly Ringwald. Sorry, I can't think of any of the other names. But anyway, um, 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 anyway, the guy who plays the principal on The Breakfast Club is on this episode, Nash Bridges. Anyway, so Dustin goes and decides to find out where Ashley is, because he just feels like she is still alive, and he feels like she is still alive, and he's determined to find her for Sean. Kind of make up for the fact that he tried to torch the house, and on top of that, the singer, mentions that he's having a blast taking college classes, and he's having fun. And there was the mention of that his wife wasn't doing so hot. She had cancer or something. I don't know what. Anyway, and she didn't make it. But he goes and finds out that she's in Russia, in a place like Shatana's. Place exactly like Shatana's, except for that it's a house, like on a certain Dolly Parton, Burt Reynolds movie. Okay, so if you look it up on I always get the letters mixed up. IMBD, something like that. If you look up their movies on that, you will find a certain movie that they're both in, and you'll be like, that's an interesting title. Anyway, so he goes there, and he has to pay to talk to her, but he has to pay to talk to her, and he does for like a good 6 months. he needs to gain her trust because she is a little different than she was before. Any guy that goes into her room gets kicked out cold and maybe unalived. And she's got by that time she's given birth to the two little girls and they're 2 years old. And so he visits her for a long time and then they escape and they go to his house. Well, his house looks like the one I think he got the house from William Sr. And for some reason it's like all black paint on the outside, something like that. And oh, I thought he was wearing glasses. He doesn't wear glasses. Anyway, so they escaped his house and they stayed there for about a month and then they realized they need to get home to Ireland. So, well, technically Dustin lives in New York, but anyway, they need to go home to Ireland and because he's not even supposed to be in Ireland. He got kicked out. But and remember, this is a book I wrote. I don't know if they kick people out for trying to torch a mansion, I have no idea. But I just went with, in America, that is the way it would happen. He'd get kicked out of the country. He'd get deported, whatever. Or at least that's what all the TV shows and movies say. But anyway, so they go and take the car that they have and take it to the next town, the next town over or the next city over or whatever it is. And they switch that out for another car. And then they go to this, I think it's the next town over, and they trade that out for a pink race car, and they've got Kaylee and Kylie in booster seats and car seats, but for older little children. Oh, okay. I was looking at that going, what happened? Because it looked like the screen had frozen up. So remember I said I had Pop's Disney Adventures in the background. That's what I'm talking about. Anyway, so they're going down the road and all of a sudden, they know that somebody is following them. So eventually they get a motorhome, but this isn't just any motorhome. It has, bulletproof walls and tires. They want to make sure they're going to be safe. Maybe it didn't have a bulletproof wall. I think it did though. I don't know. Anyway, I made it as armored as it can be. And so they're going down the road and they finally get to Paris. Oh no, they got to a spot in France and they end up in Paris because Ashley's got some street racing enemies who will do anything to get rid of her. So they're going to throw her off the Eiffel Tower. Well, their bad luck, they've got a small problem because the uh, guard or elevator attendant or whatever he would be, he has decided to step in and say, she can stay, but you two need to go, or no, you two can stay, but she needs to go. So he goes and escorts her downstairs, and they like had her over the edge and everything, I think, but yeah, or maybe, I think they had her over the edge and everything, but she's like fighting to stay on the solid part of, yeah, anyway, the solid part, and it ends up that her friend rescues her because her friend is that guy that says that, we've got a capacity of this much, and she's the extra person. So anyway, so they get back to the motorhome and they continue on home. Well, somewhere in there, they're on the ferry to get to Ireland, and the bad guys are on it. And Kaylee and Kylie are monitoring it with Ashley's cell phone. Oh, yeah, and that's the other thing. The motorhome had Xboxes and TVs, everything wireless, Well, actually, when I had that dream, I think everything was wired, but it makes more sense to have it wireless. But anyway, so they're playing some of my favorite games, golf with your friends. What was that? Anyway, they're like playing golf with your friends, and Minecraft, and some of my favorite games. Maybe some other games that I haven't discovered yet. I don't know. But anyway, I think I was mostly talking about games that I do play. So, but I didn't name them by name. I just I said like the brick building game. If Minecraft wants to, if Mojang wants to pay me, or Microsoft, Mojang, whoever owns Minecraft right now, if they want to pay me, then sponsor me or whatever. I'd be perfectly willing to mention them by name in my book, but we're not quite there yet. Because that book is a long time coming. Not that it's that badly written or anything. It kind of is because it's not long enough, but Dustin is going to rescue her, and they find, like I said, they find out that the bad guys are on the ferry with them, and they call in the cavalry, bit cavalry, cavalry. Um, um, anyway, and they have the cops there when they get into town, but somebody ends up having to shoot off a cannon and scare off the bad guys, and it ends up being a pretty good book. But then the problem is that they get home and Sean does not believe what he's seeing. So he's kind of poking he's kind of poking his daughters, and he asks, "Who are these?" And yeah, it ends up being good. I can tell you about that now because you'll probably forget about it by the time that I get to that book anyway. Problem is that I'm gonna get to the point where I need to fill in the gaps between the one book and the other book, and I'm gonna have to fill in the gaps between the one book and the next book, and I may not be able to come up with anything right away. So then, my books may be on hold for a while. I'm kind of I want to write another book, but I don't have it. I don't really have any ideas except for that once Ashley's husband is captain, because Ashley didn't want to be captain. Once Ashley's husband is captain, they're gonna get a pirate treasure map from Ashley's grandma, Katie, and they're gonna go and look for this treasure, but I don't have really any ideas of how to do it because I don't want to be copying. So I kind of want it to be, they're walking on this island that they didn't know existed, and like they're walking on this island that they didn't know existed, and I don't know where I'm going to have it be. Maybe it's out in the middle of the ocean. Maybe it's way too close to the Bermuda Triangle. I don't know. That would make sense because nobody would want to go that way. And then they end up going that way, and anyway, and does this treasure actually exist, or are they going on a treasure hunt for nothing? I want it to have a big old cave, kind of like it was either Goonies or one of the it was either Goonies or the Mermaid Pirates of the Caribbean. I think. I think it had to have been could have been Indiana Jones too, but I don't think so. But anyway, there's this one part where they're crawling through this they're crawling through like a cave, but the cave keeps getting smaller and smaller, and then they're like, I think they were like, dang, it ends right here, and then they're like, oh no, this thing moves. So there's like a um I don't know what you would call that. We'll just call it a platform that moves up and down, and so you climb on it and it goes up, and then and then what is that? Oh, okay. Um so you climb on it and it kind of goes up, but then, as you put your weight on it, it goes back down and lets you off on the other side. And I can't remember what movie I was watching that had that, but I kind of want one of those in there. But then I kind of want to have, like the big gaping hole, like in something else I saw, and and very confusing, like the um like underneath Gringotts in the Harry Potter movies. I want to come up with all this stuff, and I'm like, you know, technically it would be um it would probably be a inspiration thing. Maybe, maybe it was Katie and her crew that buried this treasure, or somebody else in Katie and crew found out about it, and like maybe Michelle's dad, James, went and put in some of this weirdness. And maybe there's like the how Batgirl had an apartment and the one wall turned around so it had all her Batgirl stuff, but when she has regular visitors, um she's mild mannered librarian. I don't remember what her name is. She's Yvonne. No, she might be Yvonne Craig. Yvonne Craig. On the other hand, Mrs. Munster might be Yvonne Craig. One of them is. Um, no, that doesn't sound right. Yvonne Craig. Um, yeah, I can't think of her name. Well, anyway. Unless I'm getting it right, and I just don't think I am. Um, Now the lady who plays Mrs. Munster, uh, Lily. Yeah, I think Lily Munster. The one that plays Lily Munster, she was on an episode of Bonanza. She was a singer dancer, and uh Joe, they call him Little Joe sometimes. He was um he liked her. So he wanted to hang out with her even though she's older than he is. And um and she's a showgirl. So Pa didn't approve. Um and the thing is that the whole reason why she was there is because um she's supposed to charm one of them into giving up the rights to the trees. They they own a big plot of land that has a bunch of trees on it. And they need the trees to do mining and all that stuff. But they're thinking, what about the animals that live in those trees? They're basically saying, what about the environment? And, so they're not willing to give up their trees. Because they know that the guys that want those trees are going to do bad things with it. So anyway, she's supposed to charm one of them into giving up the rights, but she can't do that. So she ends up she ends up trying to get Joe kidnapped. And by the end of the episode, they're dancing at the club, tavern, whatever it is, bar. It might be a bar. Saloon. Yeah. Saloon. That's what it is. Saloon. Anyway, they're dancing at the saloon like nothing happened. And, Pa's like, were you here the whole time? And, you little scamp, get your butt home. Something like that. And, Joe goes off with his family and she's left by herself. Anyway. Yeah, I've got a whole bunch, of different books. And one of them actually has, Hayden and Morgan are chaperoning the high school dance. I don't know if it was the prom or what, because, what was going on in my head at the time isn't going on now, so you never know. But anyway, it's some dance at the high school, and the only reason why they got asked is because the people that they wanted to ask had the flu or a really bad cold, something like that. Anyway, they're sick. And so they're having a tough time because they're supposed to be stopping the kids from kissing each other. They're supposed to be stopping, they're supposed to be stopping the couples from, going too far, basically. And, it's just kissing. So they're having a hard time with it because, they'd let their kids kiss. That's fine. But, they, they understand about getting them to not do more than kissing. So, okay. But anyway, so while they're there, Morgan has to go to the bathroom. And she finds two girls in the bathroom smoking, and she yells at them for about 5 minutes, and they walk away grumbling about her, but they did walk away. So, and I don't know what the smoking age is in Ireland. I've never looked that up. Because I think for a while there, you had to be 14 to buy cigarettes, and this one kid, he swears his mom's, he swore his mom was the smoker, and he was just picking up cigarettes for her, and he had a note and everything. But how did we really know? My aunt and uncle owned a little convenience store. But how did we really know? I don't think that they ever followed him home and found out, yeah, his mom's a smoker. And I don't know why the mom couldn't be bothered to come and get her own dang cigarettes. But anyway, he was allowed to buy cigarettes for his mom, but so there may be a certain age to buy cigarettes. in Ireland. I have no idea. I think it's 18 here now. Going with the idea of you're 18, you're able to make your own decisions. I don't like the idea because, for every smoker for every person who starts smoking, there's another person who's going to have problems because of secondhand smoke. And you may not be thinking that that's a big deal, but I think it is. My grandparents my grandma and grandpa on mama's side, used to smoke, and I think personally that I'm uh, suffering from that a little bit. I don't know if I'm right, but I think I am. For the longest time, I'd come home smelling like smoke, and then smelling like nicotine, and I definitely did not smoke. I will never. Not even if well, that's a different kind of smoking, but like even if they told me that if you take this, your back will feel better forever, I wouldn't do it because I don't smoke, and I pride myself on not doing drugs. Medicine drugs, that's different. Like when my back is that bad, Vicodin. Although it hasn't been that bad since I got this chair, so I think that's awesome. It hasn't hurt, and uh, it hasn't hurt, and I haven't had as many problems with my back. So, it's actually felt pretty good. Oh, okay. Thought we switched episodes. Maybe not. Okay, so I'm gonna stop a little early, and like I said, I think um I'm gonna come back and do this a little later because I do have stuff to do. I'm hungry. I need to do some laundry, and I need to finish that chapter. Um, I would love to finish that book, but it's not happening today. It's got over 400 pages. Um, okay, so it's got digital paper, but it's got 428 paper pages, and um, at least at least 418 of them, I'm sure, are the story. So I don't actually know how many pages it is total, um but it's probably going to be more than that when it's done because I keep finding parts that just sound lame, 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 lame. Yes, I had to go there and quote syndrome. I think it's syndrome. And I'm saying I know it's syndrome, but I think he's the one that said the quote. I haven't seen Incredibles in quite a long time either. I like it. I just haven't watched it. Like I've had a I don't know if you would call it a craving or I've wanted to watch the older stuff like Robin Hood and Sleeping Beauty and Winnie the Pooh and stuff like that. Although I kind of wanted to watch High School Musical the other day. Didn't do it, but I wanted to. So Samsung's got this thing where you can watch TV shows as long as you have an internet connection, and I love it. That they have the All Murder She Wrote channel. I was telling you about Morgan and Hayden and totally went off on a tangent, but I'll tell you about them in a little bit. They've got the All Murder She Wrote channel, all the NCIS, but it's showing most of the time it's showing New Orleans, I think. I wish that they would show my NC. I wish that they'd show NCIS Los Angeles. Season 3 on, or season, yeah, maybe season 3 on down to whatever season they ended on. I know it was after 6. Anyway, so I got to the point where he's being taken to jail because Chris O'Donnell's character was getting taken to jail, and I couldn't tell if it was I couldn't tell if it was a for real thing or if it was I couldn't tell if it was for real or if it was a fake thing, and he's like going undercover kind of thing. I mean, as himself, but undercover. I couldn't tell. So I know that one of the episodes before that, Hetty was trying to make sure that he had an actual name. G is not a name. So she's like, you got to pick something. And he's sitting there going, I don't know what. Given the part of the world that he came from, I think maybe it should be Gustav or Gaston or something, but I think he chooses Gary. Or at least that's what he wrote on the paper, is something like Gary. Okay, so anyway, they are like I said, they're chaperoning the dance, and I'm trying to convince myself to get up so I can go upstairs. Anyway, they're chaperoning the dance, and Morgan has to go to the bathroom, so she does. Like I said, she caught the 2 smokers, and then she went in and did what she needed to do. Well, while she's gone, an old girlfriend of Hayden's walks up, plants a big kiss on him, and Morgan walks out while they're kissing, and if I remember correctly, Hayden kissed her back. It wasn't a one-sided kiss, and Morgan sees the whole thing, and she thinks their marriage is over, that he's gonna cheat on her, and she goes home by herself, and she has enough time for all those emotions to stew, and by the time he gets home, She's got a gun and she's trying to shoot him. He's never cheated on her ever. And yeah, so the whole book is, trying to get back in her good graces as opposed to her not good graces. He even ends up sleeping in the secret passageway rather than their bedroom or on the ship. I think he was sleeping in a guest bedroom on the 5th floor or something like that. When they were at home. Whoa, did you see how close that was? Okay, so I'm gonna have to... Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. We'll end the stream here. I gotta go upstairs and I gotta laundry and food first, laundry second. And Sam would like it if I filled their bowl more. Their food bowl. Yeah, for the longest time, he was like, you know what? I like this bowl. It's new. It's my bowl. I'm gonna eat out of it. And it's really Bobby's bowl. Well, then all of a sudden the other day he's like, you know what? I want my regular bowl back. We can't talk, but body language, I could tell that he wants his other bowl back. So I have to go and put a scoop of food in that bowl. Dang! Hello? Hello? Yeah, and now I'll be getting calls all day because I answered it because it said Carson City. Oh, no, I'm up here. Okay. That all needs to come out. There we go. Anyway, Squibs and his friend know command blocks, and they were able to take a whole bunch of stuff out. But then I got to thinking about it later. They A, took out too much stuff, and then B, I mean, it's okay that they took out all that, but they took out a little too much stuff for me to figure out what for me to figure out how to put the water in. I think they took out too much. But we'll figure it out. Because sometimes he watches my videos and sometimes he doesn't. I do want him to know that that it is very much appreciated. it just, I should have been more specific. Oh, and happy birthday to my brother. I don't know if he watches my videos, or not, but my brother Chris's birthday is today. And I sent him like 7 happy birthday gifts. GIF, not gift. I can't afford to gift, but just acknowledging that it's his birthday, I think will be enough. I sent something yesterday just in case I forgot today. And I told it like that to my sister, and yeah, so the sister I play video games with all the time. So she was thinking about maybe joining me on some of the video games. I think she wrote it all down, and what my schedule is usually. What my schedule is usually, and I don't know if she's going to join us or if she just doesn't want to double up on the same days as me, but I think she's talking like she's going to join us. Not sure though. Anyway, so I think Ashley and Chantel convinced her to get mad at that woman, not at Hayden. Because it got all blown out of proportion. Hayden listened to Adam. Adam said, let her cool off first. Well, it didn't work that way. So he's wishing he would have not listened to Adam. Because what does Adam know about women? He's still in the dating process. But, yeah, I think Adam was there with his date, his girlfriend, not his date. I think Adam was there with his girlfriend, and, there's like, okay, so there's, Adam and Lauren, and then there's another girl named Lauren as well. And I don't know why I did that. And hopefully, or is it Adam and Laura? No, Laura's a sister. Never mind. I still need to go upstairs. Driving myself crazy. Minecraft says never leave trees hanging like this. And I don't know why. Besides that, it just looks weird. It looks like you got a corrupted forest, Maybe it's a thing from back when, and, people left the trees floating like that because they thought it looked cool, and then they thought that their world was corrupted, and they reached out to Mojang, and Mojang's like, that doesn't happen when it gets corrupted, or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, so eventually Morgan's gonna seek out that woman. Her name's Stacy, and Hayden dated her in college for a while. He was gonna marry her, settling for settling for a different girl because he can't find the girl that he wants to marry, who happens to be Morgan. Okay, I think I have the idea here. Hopefully I won't go filling it in again. Anyway, I'll leave you to read it when it finally comes out. Okay, so I read books. They are available on Amazon in hardback, paperback, and ebook. The hardbacks range from like one of them's 24, one of them's 25, one of them's 26, one of them's 27. Wait, 24, 25, 26, 27. Okay, and the other two are a double of one of the other, 25 or something. Here, why don't we just. I need to write that down somewhere. Okay. Pirate's Daughter, Kindle, and the ebook is $3.05. The paperback is $20. The hardcover is $26. Misfortune, $5.20 and $26. Hard Times, $5.20 and $26. Okay, so then Esperanza's Party, $3.05, $20 and $24. The Island, $5, $20 and $25. Where'd it go? Lessons in Love, $5, $20 and $27. And then Adopted Coral only comes in ebook and paperback, so it's $2.99 and $6. There you go. Official numbers and everything. So, if you're watching me on Twitch right now, please follow and chat. If you're watching me on YouTube right now, please like, share, comment, subscribe, notification bell, and please get those valid public watch hours up. And as soon as I get these two done, I will see you in the next stream or video. Three then. Okay. See you in the next stream or video.